This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Upgrade your business with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning fewer carts going abandoned and more sales going cha-ching. So if you're into growing your business, get a commerce platform that's ready to sell wherever your customers are. Visit shopify.com to upgrade your selling today.
I think I just won my taxes.
Yeah?
I just switched to H&R Block in about 1 minute. All I had to do was drag and drop last year's return into H&R Block, and bam, my information is automatically there.
So I don't have to go digging around for all my old papers to switch?
Nope.
Sounds like we just leveled up our tax game.
Switching to H&R Block is easy. Just drag and drop your last return. It's better with Block.
Hello, fellow gamers, and welcome to the Video Gamers Podcast. We've said many times that we're huge fans of indie devs and the incredible, artistic, fun indie games they make. And well, it's time to prove it. So we're going to be starting a brand new series where we cover the wide and wonderful world of indie games. That's right, for the next few weeks, or maybe longer, we'll be bringing you a jam-packed third episode each week where we cover all things indie, game reviews, news, and more. If you're a fan of indie or just more gaming talk in general, then these episodes are for you. Today, we'll be covering the recent hit release of Ender Magnolias, but first, some introductions are in order. I am your host, Josh, and joining me, the last indie game he played was Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And when we came up with the idea, he asked if he needed to buy a hat and a whip. It's Ryan.
Indy, no!
Oh man, Ryan's face trying to figure out, like, wait, oh, I get it, the whole indie thing.
Yeah,
Okay,
I get
okay.
it.
Yeah,
Man, it took a second, but you know.
Yeah. And joining us,
Whoa, what?
He's the indie master himself, the man with the beating heart of the indie world firmly in the palm of his hand, shouting, Kalima Shakti Day. Wait, dang it, that's the wrong indie again. The man who has been feverishly trying to get Ryan and I to look at and play Tales of Iron 2. It's the one, the only Ace of Shame.
I am going to get you to play Tales of Iron 2. It is happening. I don't care what it takes. I am going to message those devs directly to harass you into playing Tales of Iron 2.
Ace, I feel like you with Tales of Iron 2 is like me with Remnant 2, where it's just like, I'm not going to let up until you people play this game.
Exactly. I mean, what more do you want? It's got blood, gore, and rats.
That's true. And the ratdom.
Exactly.
Which,
the ratdom.
Yeah, sounds a little bit too like something else that we won't talk about right now. So. All right. Welcome in, everybody, to this very special third episode. We hope that you're as excited as we are. This is something that we have talked about for a while is, you know, we're in an awesome groove. We've got our two main shows, our Monday and our Thursday episodes. But it's one of these things where it's like, man, we know that people want more content. What can we give them? Yeah, and one of the things that we feel like we have been rather negligent on is the world of indie games. Like, I know gamers that don't play anything that is not indie. And Ace, I know you're a huge fan of indie games, but you also play a lot of mainstream games and stuff as well. So this is something that we're very passionate about. We want to bring you as the listener more content. And in kind of brainstorming that and thinking about that, we thought, dude, let's really dive into the indie world a little bit more. Number one, we have mad respect for indie devs. The passion that they have for games is honestly something that we are absolutely committed to supporting. Some of the best games, some of the most fun games have come from indie devs. There seems to be this kind of loss of what gamers want from the AAA gaming world. And so indie devs have really just, it's something that we love supporting and we want to talk more about. And that's why we're doing this episode. And then we thought, you know, who can talk about indie games all day and knows everything that's going on in the indie world. And then, you know, Ace, obviously you came to mind right away on this. Awesome friend of the show. We met you through the show for people that don't know. Man. And I'll be honest, we've become very, very good friends, and here we are. So I know this is one reason we love doing this podcast is the people that we have gotten to meet through this podcast. And not to get sappy, but you are absolutely one of those, and we absolutely consider you a very good friend. So we're thankful for that. And then we're like, well, how can we abuse Ace, man? You know, we want more content. Like, you know, let's put this guy to work. Yeah. So for the listeners, this is something we're going to do on a weekly basis. You know, try it out. Let us know what you think about it. But yeah, we'll be covering kind of the world of indie games, news, maybe game reviews and stuff like that. So I don't want to speak for you guys, but I know I'm really excited for this, man.
For sure. It's something that's like you said, it's kind of a realm that we haven't tapped. Not to say that there's not great things there. It's just something that you don't normally gravitate to unless you're searching it out. And to have somebody that's just such an expert and just so well versed in all things indie that Ace is, like, we're going to learn along with him. Or along with the audience, if you will. So it's going to be so cool. I'm totally stoked for it, and I'm excited to not only learn about these games, but try some that I probably otherwise would not have played.
Oh, buddy, get ready to learn some absolute gaming culture. Like, it is coming.
Yeah, like Tales of Iron 2.
Exactly, right? Tales of Iron 2, Whiskers of Winter, out in 2 days.
Oh, man. Oh, look at that. So Ace, you know, let's kind of just start off with what is it about indie games that resonates with you so much? I mean, from the time we've known you, you've always been talking about indie titles and things that you're excited for. Famously, Another Crab's Treasure, which was a hit game in 2024. You were the one in our community that was just absolutely going like, I'm shouting this to the world. This is going to be great. And then the game released, and sure enough, it was great. I don't want to give you a big head and say that you're right on these things, but you definitely have your finger on the pulse. So what is it about indie games that resonates with you so much?
Well, first, I want to say you were pretty shellfish for not picking up Another Crab's Treasure. Despite my insistence, you would not play it.
And I've heard so many good things. It legitimately is one of those games I kind of have FOMO on, where I'm like, dang it, I really did miss out on this.
So I want to know, though, speaking of, like, because it's like Souls-like, so does the crab roll? Can the crab roll?
Oh yeah.
Is that a sushi joke, Ryan? Is that a really bad veiled sushi joke, right?
Really?
Maybe.
Oh man.
Come on. I thought that's what we were doing. That was the thing, you know, we're doing horrible jokes.
It's a Shells-like game?
Is
that really what it
Shells-like,
says?
Sir.
Oh, kudos.
Oh man.
That's awesome.
Oh, we're starting out so well. I love it.
But what really resonates with me with indie games, though, is like when you pick up an indie game, like you said, the AAA, it's failing people a lot. It's really disappointing people. It's obvious that they're just trying to hit a deadline. When you pick up an indie game, you are holding like the heart and soul of someone in your hand. You are holding their dreams, and you're experiencing like the heart of a gamer right there, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's one of those things where as we have seen the failure in a lot of the AAA games and seen the success from indie devs, and Ryan and I have said this many times on the main show that, you know, the future for the indie world looks very, very bright. Oh, yeah. Because as we get into these mega studios like EA and Blizzard and, you know, Ubisoft, and I think this is not to pick on Ubisoft again, which I know you've been a huge fan of, Ace, but
not anymore.
I think they lose their way. Like, legitimately, I think it becomes about profits and money over the passion of games. And with indie devs, the passion of their game is what is going to determine their success.
Exactly.
You know. Yeah. And so I am with you on that. And this, again, one of the reasons that we want to start doing this show weekly is to really focus on that and support that, because they're the ones that are pouring their heart and souls into these games with the hope that people discover it and people have fun with it. And we want to help when we can on that. So Okay, so I mean, that said, that's the goals of these episodes, right? We want to cover all of the things indie. We will talk about just general gaming. Apparently, some really bad sushi puns along the way too. But if you are a fan of indie or just gaming in general, these episodes are absolutely going to be up your alley, and we hope that you look forward to them. And in case you missed it, this is in addition to our normal Monday and Thursday episodes.
Another one.
As well.
Another one.
And again! Again! Sorry. Ryan and Ace just both cringed.
No more.
No, please. I hear it in my nightmares.
Yeah.
We've been playing a lot of Rivals. Again is like something I hear in my nightmares. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Again! The look on both y'all's faces when like your brain processed the sound was so great. All right, so let's get into this, man. Ace, just for people that don't know, you 2 years ago, you gifted me a copy of Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Night, which I knew nothing about. All of a sudden, I just get this, you've got a gift. And I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, what's Ender Lilies? What the heck? And then I had that moment where I kind of went, oh man, I can't not play this game. Like it was a gift. What am I going to do? Just throw it back at you and be like, no thanks? And so kudos to you because I did play Ender Lilies. You've kind of forced me or guilted me into it by gifting it to me.
That usually works.
You. Yeah. and I've said this before, but I am generally not the biggest fan of Metroidvanias. Like, I think there are some fantastic ones. I think the genre as a whole, I'm kind of put off just a little bit. I do enjoy them from time to time, but it's just not my jam. Like, I know Metroidvanias are one of your favorite genres.
Oh, yeah, this is where we differ greatly. Yeah. Like, to me, a Metroidvania is the heart of video gaming. It is the most pure gaming experience you can have.
Ryan agrees with you because Castlevania, what is it, Symphony of the Night, Ryan, is 10. One of your all-time favorite games? Yeah.
I wish there was a modern way to play through that.
Yeah. So I did go into Ender Lilies kind of like ho-hum, but let me give it a shot. And I will say I didn't finish it. Surprise, everybody.
Surprise.
But I do have a few hours into it. And what I remember is like the kind of atmosphere, like mesmerizing is the word that kind of comes to mind for me, where the art style was beautiful. It was this kind of sad, almost like haunting type atmosphere to it. I don't know if you're a ghost or a girl that has ghosts attached to her, but I remember like you find these ghost things that follow you around and help you. Yep. I thought it was really weird that she doesn't do a lick of fighting. Like you don't even have like an ability. It's like the ghost things that are following you around. But I do remember thinking like, wow, this game is very beautiful. It's very well done. There is absolutely something here. Like whoever made this game knew what they were doing. And then they announced Ender Magnolias, and you started just, again, shouting it to the world.
I lost my
mind.
And
saying, oh my goodness, guys.
I lost my mind. I was so happy.
I was being polite. You did lose your mind.
I was so happy, man. Like, oh.
So what is it about this? I'm going to call it a series at this point, but I guess it's the Ender series? Is that the proper term? Okay. So what is it about the Ender series that you love so much?
It is easily the atmosphere it builds where you are this lone protagonist in this ruined world. It is not a happy story. Like, you are not playing through the happiest moment here. You are in worlds at their darkest hour, and you are their last hope. And something about that is just so real.
Yeah.
Kind of like Hollow Knight in a way. There's that, like, Hollow Knight is not a happy game.
Hollow Knight does not have a happy story, no.
No, yeah. So I don't know what it is. Does any Metroidvania? I mean, Ori? Right? Because that's sad too, but
yeah,
isn't there like,
sad too.
What is it about Metroidvanias that makes everybody sad?
I don't think there's a happy Metroidvania. I guess there wouldn't be a bad guy if there was.
Is there a happy Metroidvania out there?
Nobody can be happy side-scrolling like that, man.
Okay, see, I'm with you, Ryan. Or getting lost in a giant map where you have no idea what you're doing, or if you put it down for 3 hours, you have forgotten what you were doing and where you are.
1,000%. That's my biggest gruff with Metroidvanias. I still love them, but yeah, that whole kind of layout of the maps and the sequence there is a little tough. But man, I'm excited to learn more about this, man. This is sounding pretty good though.
I am excited because I know Ace, you have played this, beaten it, and 100%ed it.
Both
if I am
games.
correct, is that true?
I've 100%
both games.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ryan, watch out. We've got an expert on our hands here.
He said he's an expert. Hey!
That's why he's here.
Time to get serious, man. We can hold up to this, Ryan.
Yeah,
it'll be all right.
I played 1 or 2 Metroidvanias in my time.
Back in my day, Metroidvanias had vampires.
They had Metroid in the name.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So, so Ace, you've been a fan of this series. We usually start off these kind of, game deep dives, so to speak, with what is the thing, the one thing. And I know this is hard because when I asked you to think about this, you went, come on, man. Like, what is the hook, so to speak? The thing that stands out to you the most above all else in this game? To give people an idea, when we covered Astrobot, Ryan and I said it's the audio. Like, as great as the gameplay and everything in Astrobot was, the audio in this game is second to none. With Space Marine, it was just the kind of visual grandeur of that game. So every game we feel like has something that is its kind of like, magic formula, or the thing that sets it apart, or the thing that your brain just instantly remembers. And I know this is difficult, but for Ender Magnolias, like, what would you say that is?
It was the music, hands down, man. The music.
Oh, wow.
The music so perfectly complemented the backgrounds and the characters, and just every moment was followed by a track that just fit so perfectly, and it was absolutely immersive and beautiful. I can't even describe how wonderful it was.
It's weird how much music within kind of a game, or even like, a movie, cinematics and stuff like that, like how much that impacts your perception in your gameplay. Like, yeah. I know, even just with we just talked about Hollow Knight, like that music is absolutely fantastic. And then something like not a Metroidvania, but like Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, like that music. When I hear that, I feel and then when you're exploring and you have that just calm and it's just kind of it makes you feel more immersed and more part of that world, which is something that's so cool and so hard to do. And that's why, you can watch these clips or watch these gameplays or cinematic clips type things, and without the music, things are so different. And so to have such a good track on a whole game series like that is something that's big. So if that's the biggest part, man, that's going to suck in a lot of people to just experience that world.
See, like, good music in a game, you don't notice. Like, it's not there, but great music complements everything you're doing perfectly. And it's totally different.
There are very few games in life where I have actively sought out the soundtrack for a game. Hollow Knight is one of those games where I have actually, like, in the car with my family, said, hang on, I want you guys to listen to this, and then them be like, wow, what is this? This is really good. And I'm like, it's the music from Hollow Knight. And then they go like, Dad, you're such a nerd. Like, you're playing video game music, but it's that good.
It is.
And so hearing you say that the music for Ender Magnolias is the thing for you really does get me excited, because like you said, it's one of those things where when it's just good or it's okay, like your brain kind of tunes it out and you kind of go, it's there. But when it is great, like I said, that sticks with you. And then it's almost like it enhances your memory of the game, because you start to remember, like, the song from, Hollow Nest, or or these different stages in a game or something like that as well. So
absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, there's a point for Ace for getting me hyped for this game.
Right.
All right. Well, listen, we've got a lot to cover. We're going to get into the nitty gritty on this game and kind of the combat, the graphics. Ace has told us that he has a hot take for us, which gets me very curious as well. But we're going to get to all that right after this short break.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
All right, we're back. Well, one of the things that we were going to talk about was the music for this game. So, Ace, you said it's the hook. You said it's great. Does this game use music in its kind of standard gameplay? Like, do you get that music that kind of amps up as you have a boss fight? I mean, is it more just that it's beautiful, haunting background music? Does the music in this game like accentuate the experience? Like, give us a little bit deeper on that.
It absolutely accentuates the experience. Like, depending on what areas you're in, like if you go into like a hellish, terrible area, not only will you have the backing piano and the harsh violin, you'll also have maybe something in the background giving you like deep, raspy breaths to accentuate that you are in a bad place.
Oh,
and there's no happy place in Ender Magnolia, but like there are safe places. So when you're in a safe place, like that's when you actually get like backing vocals in the back of the music. Oh, that's kind of cool. And that's the only dialogue in the game. Like everything else is quiet. There's no dialogue, so the only time you're going to hear voices is if you're hearing the vocals of the music. And
I love when, and this is the other thing, you got to think these are indie devs, right? Like,
yeah.
Like where do they find these composers? Like, how do they afford these composers, man? Like, I don't know. This is something we know very little about as far as like, getting a soundtrack for a game, the OST, the original soundtrack. Professional musicians ain't cheap, man. Yeah. And really good ones that can give you like something memorable like that fits your game is even harder still. Mm-hmm. So it really does make me curious, like where these like music composers are and how they go about capturing the emotion and the feel of a game like Ender Magnolia, man. It's like, so if you're a music developer or a dev that's dealt with one, reach out to us, man. We'd love to hear about it. Like, honestly, I'm very, very curious about that whole kind of development process, especially when it's the hook. Like we talked about, Ace, this is the thing.
Oh,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? That like you think about primarily with Ender Magnolia. And so it really kind of gets me curious, but I also love hearing it. Now I'm going to have to go listen to some Ender Magnolia soundtrack.
You're going to have to run the soundtrack.
You absolutely should. I encourage everyone in our Discord. I think I posted a playlist with nothing but those songs. Like, do yourself a favor, put this on in the background.
Well, I know if it's anything like Hollow Knight, which I am a huge fan of, that I will absolutely be checking that out. So, okay, let's move on, Ace. Another thing with indie games is the attention to the graphics or the graphic style, I'll say, and I'll preface this with saying like, a lot of indie devs don't have the funds to hire these top tier graphic, designers or artists or something like that, and admittedly, I don't hide this. I'm a graphics snob.
No, I know.
I love cutting edge graphics. I love things that, going to make my eyes bleed and, oh my goodness, this looks so good. But at the same time, I love various artistic styles. Ryan, we covered No Rest for the Wicked, which famously you did not like, but the art style in that game I think is phenomenal.
Agreed.
We have a game South of Midnight coming up, which we'll probably be talking about in our Twig episode this week because we just got some more information on that at the Xbox reveal there. And so it's like, this kind of this artistic style, I think, is a calling card for indie devs almost, where it's like, this is a way around we don't need cutting edge graphics, but we can still make a game beautiful and atmospheric. So overall, like, what do you think about the graphics in Ender Magnolia? Because I have watched gameplay, and having played the first one, I have some thoughts on it as well, but I'm curious what, explain that. Like, what's the art style? What do you think about the graphics as a whole?
So if Ender Lilies was more of a gothic fairy tale storybook aesthetic, Ender Magnolia is more of a steampunk Studio Ghibli aesthetic.
Ooh,
okay.
Oh, wait. Say those words again.
Steampunk Studio Ghibli.
Oh boy,
Ghibli.
So one more time, Ace. One more time. All right, number one.
Right. I love
steampunk stuff. I'm a big fan of steampunk. I don't know why. I just think it's a neat mashup of stuff. And then studio. I say Ghibli. Is it Ghibli?
I
don't
looked
know.
it
I say
up.
Ghibli, but
Ghibli.
I wanted to get it right, so no one made fun of me.
No, that's good. Well, I got it wrong. I'm an idiot. I say Studio Ghibli, but dude, I mean, oh my goodness, I love Studio Ghibli movies, dude. So, okay. I just needed a minute for my brain to process that awesomeness. So steampunk Studio Ghibli mashup for Ender Magnolia.
Yes. That is what Ender Magnolia
I mean, say no more. I'm sold, right?
Right there, man. Like, if you think of like Studio Ghibli films like Castle in the Sky or these ones where you see the robots and things like that, it's absolutely like what you're feeling when you're walking through Ender Magnolia, especially because everything is hand-drawn. Like, I know it's not feasible for every, developer, indie or otherwise, to do hand-drawn graphics, but man, does it make a difference.
I'm sure it's going to give that kind of almost like we talked about the hook, and then what's going to draw people in. They obviously don't have the budget and they don't have the title to make it be a big thing. What is going to be that characteristic that really brings people in? And if for the graphics, if they're not as good, it has to have some sort of little bit of hook to it, and to have that look is something that's really unique and something so cool that I love with the I mean, shoot, I know Josh is a graphic snob, and I'm a little bit too. I love looking at beautiful games. But Lethal Company is one of my most favorite games in the last 2-3 years. Like, and that looks like it was made on a potato. So, graphics do not make a good game. Like, a fun game makes a fun game, and so if you can tie it in with amazing music and composition of awesome stuff, and then a great art style, dude, all the better, man. So this sounds cool.
You don't need realism to get immersion.
Exactly.
It is absolutely like, it's that. Like, you don't need realism to get immersion. That's all it is. Like, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I have said, I think Valheim is one of the most beautiful games that I've ever played. And Valheim looks like it's made in 1080 or 480p. It's like, it's really very low polygon, but the atmosphere in that game and the beauty of the game is second to none, in my opinion. Like, it really does kind of touch me in like a way that it's like, how did they do this? Because graphically speaking, this game is not like, it's not graphically intensive, but the world and the way that they incorporate weather and music and just the wind blowing through the grass and stuff like that, I've always said is absolutely a masterclass in how you make a game beautiful without needing like cutting edge graphics. This hand-drawn art style, I absolutely love. Like, I have said this, and please, I know there's people out there that are going to gasp, but I'm not a fan of 8-bit graphics or 60. I don't like pixels. Like pixel graphics. Celeste, one of the best platformers ever made. I did not play for years and years and years because every time I went to buy it, I would look at the graphics and I would just go like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm sorry. And then I finally did it. And then it's one of the best platformers ever. And it's like, you kind of get past it, but there's something in my brain that just goes pixel graphics, hand painted, hand drawn graphics. Like, all right. Yeah. So it's, I watched a few reviews and some gameplay stuff. You actually clipped some gameplay of a boss fight that looked pretty crazy that we'll get into here in a little bit as well. But I do have to say, as somebody that knows nothing about this game, the art style in it is genuinely beautiful. All right, Ace. Now, you said you have a hot take for us. And I've been wondering what the heck this hot take is.
And man, I've been thinking about it all day long. I've been holding it in.
Okay. I could tell because you were like, even when you said like, I have a hot take, it's like, you could see it like bubbling up and it's like, so this is your chance, buddy. we won't say that we won't mock you for it, but what is this hot take?
Ender Magnolia completely and utterly eclipses Hollow Knight as the best Metroidvania we've ever had.
Whoa.
Easily.
Okay. Wait. Okay. Now, let's walk that back just a second here, buddy. Okay.
There's some big words there, brother.
Big
I told you it was a hot take, brother.
Okay. I love Hollow Knight. It's one of the few Metroidvanias that I will actually say, like, I love this game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you say the music's really good. Check. Okay. So it's like point for Ender Magnolias, even though Hollow Knight's music is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a hard time here, Ace, but I'll let you.
Hey, at least Ender Lilia's got a sequel.
That's
man! Below the belt. That was savage. Oh, brother.
Goodness gracious. Hey, you know what? They got a sequel before Hollow Knight did. There must be something there, man.
And they came out after Hollow Knight did.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, we're going to get GTA 7 before Hollow Knight comes out anyway.
Oh, my goodness, man. Okay, so now you get me very excited here, Ace, because it's like my brain instantly rails and goes, there's no way. There's no way. But I mean, can you give me the 30-second pitch to what makes it that way?
Oh, well, it's easily, the map is better. The transversal is better.
Yeah.
Just the ways you get around and the ways you can evolve your combat. You're not just stuck with a singular weapon. You're able to swap between like 9 different spirits and different weapons. You can go from a sword, a scythe, a katana, an axe, and they all have different movesets. And as you go through the game, you're evolving those movesets to gain even more powers. And now you have a gauge that gives you a really strong attack that can stun the boss or something. It's incredible.
We're going to get into the gameplay here because honestly, like I said, you can have a beautiful game. You can have the most awesome soundtrack in the world. But if the gameplay is not there, then it's just a walking simulator at that point. And I will say that in watching some of the gameplay for this game, it actually did get me kind of hyped because
you ain't walking
it looks, it looks like it's actually pretty tough. And I know we're going to talk about some of the difficulty settings here too. So let's go. That's a hot take, Ace, but man, you got me curious because I know you don't say that lightly.
Yeah, no, I know. I want to know now with knowing his love, for all that, like I gotta, let's get into it.
Let's put the cards on the table here. I don't mean to interrupt you, Ryan, but let's Ace, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate Hollow Knight?
Hollow Knight is easily a 9.8 out of 10.
Okay, so you love Hollow Knight.
I love
this
Hollow
isn't
Knight.
like you're one of those people that didn't love Hollow Knight
at all. No,
I just had to get that out of the way.
Yeah. Hollow Knight
are we
is
dealing
amazing.
with a crazy person here?
Ender Magnolia is just a 10 out of 10.
Oh my goodness.
Easily. 100% easily.
Ace, if there's one thing I've learned, it's to trust you when it comes to indie games. As much as I don't want to believe you on this one, like we've known you long enough that it's like you don't say these things lightly.
No.
You have played games that you were excited for. Didn't you play what's the storybook game that came out recently? Plucky Squire.
Oh, you would bring up Plucky Squire.
Because you were hyped for Plucky Squire. I was excited for Plucky Squire, and then you kind of your reaction says it all. You were like,
I did not like Plucky Squire. I'm sorry, Plucky Squire.
Yeah,
I hated you. You were too handholdy.
That's the general takeaway. Yeah,
they don't all hit. They don't all hit. That's the one thing with the indie games. You know, you're going to get something amazing that you don't expect, and it's not going to be $70. And then some of them, they're just not the ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna stew on that. My brain's kind of reeling at me, Ace, but also it's kind of like you know this guy. You should trust this guy. So
and that was the last let's get into the gameplay. Shame was on the podcast.
We hope you enjoyed this test episode. It's over. All right. Well, let's get into the gameplay. For me, gameplay is paramount to just about anything else. We play games to have fun. If you have frustrating mechanics in a game, it can absolutely ruin a game for you. I'll take absolute peak gameplay over anything else, even if it means I have to play in 8-bit pixel graphics like Celeste. Like I've learned, it's just gameplay is king in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
So like, give me for somebody that doesn't know, we've covered that this is a Metroidvania, but can you boil the gameplay down into just a general, cliff notes for somebody that knows nothing about this game? Like, what are you doing? Like, what is the actual kind of just in and out, minute to minute gameplay?
Well, minute to minute gameplay, you're going to be traversing areas with your, you don't have weapons in this game. That's the thing with the Ender series. You're not attacking directly, as you mentioned. You have people fighting for you. In the first game, it was spirits that were tied to the White Priestess bloodline, something like that. In this one, it's things called homunculi, which you can sort of control with your mind.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Okay.
But you're going to be moving through areas, taking out enemies that are going to get tougher and tougher. You're going to come across things that you can't quite access yet because you haven't unlocked the ability to do so. And then when you get to the end of an area, you're going to fight a boss that's probably going to kick your butt 5 or 6 times before you get it.
I like this. I like boss fights.
They are not easy bosses. I'm going to put that out there now. But thankfully, this game has a difficulty slider, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so
which is new for a Metroidvania.
I was going to say, difficulty sliders in a Metroidvania. I don't know that anybody's done that.
Well, it's not just a difficulty slider either. Like, it has full customizable difficulty. Like, you could turn down the amount of enemy health. You could turn down the amount of enemy damage. You could turn up XP. You could do all sorts of stuff with it. It's kind of crazy. And it doesn't limit you from the achievements.
It's really weird. We're starting to see that a lot more in games. I can't remember the game that's coming up that was talking about the customizable difficulty slider. Oh, I think it might, no, it's not Path of Exile 2. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, somebody was talking about this really robust difficulty slider where there's 10 different things and you can adjust it so that you can cater it to your play style. And it's like, this seems genius to me, man, especially like somebody like me that likes a challenge. And you say you're going to die to this boss 5 or 6 times. Like that's a plus to me. Oh, that's like like, okay, I want to get into these boss fights.
That one boss fight I posted, I probably died about 50 times.
That looked pretty crazy. It was very chaotic, very like phase based almost. Like it looked like it progressed through phases where boss just decided they were going to rage out on you and do even more crazy stuff. So, I mean, is it fair to say then that this is your pretty standard Metroidvania as far as like the gameplay elements where, hey, run around this map, find things that you can't access, fight monsters that are kind of all over the levels, get gear. I'm assuming you mentioned gear and different weapons and things like that in this game. Are there like RPG-ish type elements to this?
Yeah. Where's the loot? Like you don't have,
where's my loot, like, man?
You don't have like weapons, but like what do you get?
Well, there is loot. There is loot to gather. All right. There is loot. Worry not. There's loot and secret areas. There are 3 types of loot you can gather. You can get relics, bracelets, and totems. And relics are going to change up your gameplay and how you can affect things. Like it'll give you a 10% damage boost when attacking in the air, or you take 50% less damage when you're at 25% health or something like that. Things that help you survive in the world. And then you have your bracelets, which are just your straight stat boosts, like your healing potency, your defense stat, your health stat. They'll boost that kind of stuff. And then totems completely change things. Totems can mess with the amount of heals you have, or you'll get an insta auto heal if you go below 15% health the first time, then it burns out and you're screwed. But which I found out really quick. Or it'll give
these would be akin to like the amulets in Hollow Knight then, if I remember right. Didn't you get the amulets in Hollow Knight? That sounds like what these totems would kind of be equivalent to.
I'd say they're close. I would say they're closer to the brace or the relics are closer to that. The totems are a whole new thing.
So these are like build defining type things. I mean, you kind of said percentages.
Yeah, you're going to build.
So the totems are actually like these are going to change like the way you play the game.
Yeah, they're going to decide whether you want more heals and less offense, or you want to go for 3 special attack gauges and maybe 1 less heals than you would normally go into a fight with. That way you could maybe break the boss's posture bar and get them down even quicker.
Okay. So they're like customizable based on your kind of play style or how you want to attack.
Oh yeah. You don't
that's really neat.
Until like halfway through the game.
Now, does the game reward you with gear like fairly often? Is it it one of those things where it's like, you do get gear, but it's it's kind of rare. So when you do get a piece, it's like a big deal. Or is this like hey man, you're getting this at a pretty decent clip, and you can kind of pick and choose what you want to use at that point?
You're going to be finding stuff like constantly, and it's all going to be useful to you at some point or another. You may not keep it on the entire game, but like you're going to be finding relics and secret passages, and you're going to be finding health boosts and all sorts of stuff just scattered around waiting for you. There is no reason to not complete a room. There's always a reward.
Oh,
so
okay.
This is cool to me because part of a Metroidvania is the exploration aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what's that thing up there? I can't get there. I don't have double jump yet. Like I've learned to realize when I need a double jump, but then a lot of games, and in this review that I was watching, I saw that kind of charge up dash ability where you can, you can just kind of fly across a level until you hit something.
So cool.
And so there's that. So the reason I bring this up is I am a huge fan of progression. I want to feel like I am getting stronger. I want to feel like I'm unlocking new abilities, new skills, new weapons, play styles, that kind of thing, because that to me is what keeps games fresh. With somebody for like me that can barely finish a game because my game ADD just wants to go on to the next thing. If a game has really good progression, it keeps me invested long enough to kind of see it through to the end. And I have played enough Metroidvanias to see ones where you don't really get very much progression, and it's more about trying to just work your way through this massive map, but then I've seen other ones where it does give you that kind of dangles that carrot and it really keeps you going. And those for me are what kind of hook me in. So how does this game fare in that progression sense?
Magnolia is always evolving in the gameplay and the progression. Like no matter what you're doing, you are moving towards your goal, but maybe you're also learning some story stuff, or you're coming across a side quest, or maybe even a character from the past game that somehow is still alive and you don't know how.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And you wouldn't know that unless you played the first game, but you would know because the music kicks in from the first game.
That's cool throwback too. I've seen.
Like
so
that.
Actually, you know what? Since we're mentioning that right now, this is a perfect place to kind of segue into that. If somebody didn't play Ender Lilies, can they jump into Ender Magnolia without any kind of detriment?
Absolutely. 100%.
Okay. So the game stands on its own.
Yep. 100% stands on its own.
Okay.
I mean, you would maybe get like an, ooh, look moment or two, but it takes place in the same world, kind of just several years apart. But you would not need to have played Ender Lilies to understand Magnolia even slightly.
Okay. Well, that's good. That helps. I mean, I like when devs do that because it's like you're really kind of shoehorning things if your sequel is very, very tightly tied to the original. And I get that sometimes you want that to continue a story or something, but at the same time, I think it's really smart when you give fan service, like you said, like a piece of music or a character from the first game where if you played the first, that would be a neat moment for you. But if you didn't, it's not, I don't really know what's going on. Maybe it's lost on me, but it's not like it doesn't interrupt the story or anything either at that point. So Ace, I said it in the beginning. I'll say it now. My biggest problem with Metroidvanias is the map and sometimes just the movement through the map. Like if you there's a lot of platforming.
Here we go.
There's a lot of platforming in a Metroidvania. And if your movement is not good or your abilities are not good, it can feel clunky. And when I have to move around this giant map with this clunky movement system, it just gets frustrating to me. So I know that part of exploration in a Metroidvania are the skills that you acquire along the way that let you get to these secret areas and stuff. I will say one of the things when I was watching video of this game was that it looked like there were actually some really neat movement abilities. Like you get a little glowing spider that's almost like a the grapple gun or something like that, like a grappling hook. There is wall climbing, there's the dashing, there's the blast off and shoot over to the other side of the level. So it seems like they really kind of took into account a lot of these aspects on how you actually get around in this world.
Oh yeah, easily. From the very get-go, not even an hour in, you unlock the fast travel. So you are fast traveling from anywhere. You don't even have to sit at a bench to fast travel. You could fast travel from just out in the level. You decide you don't want to be there anymore, go back to the first bench. It's fine. There's no punishment, no anything like that. And if you hold down the dash button, you can mount a wolf and just start running across the level and running into enemies and ignoring them completely.
Oh, that's good. The thing is with those types of I know Josh mentioned like progression, but having the ability to have those different ways to traverse through the areas and get back to other parts that you may have not been able to achieve, prior in the game, early on in the game and stuff. That's one of, for me personally, like, and I know we talked about it on one of our recent episodes as far as like me forgetting I ever played Castlevania and playing it again. It's just like those first experiences when you unlock that next thing and you're like, oh, now I can go back here, and then you go back and you're so excited, like, what is in that room that is there? You see it on the map, but you can't get to it. And then you're able to, like, there's just something different there that you can't really get in many other games. In Metroidvanias, like, just kind of have that on lockdown. And that's really neat to hear, like, that they not only do that, but do it in kind of a unique way.
Well, the other thing is with the map in Ender Magnolia and Ender Lilies, the map is all blue or it's all gray in this one. It's all gray at first. And if you complete every objective in a room, that room is now blue. So you know that you've gotten everything in there. You don't have to go back.
Oh, that's such a nice touch. So I'm not just looking around for something that I can't even find.
If there was a door you didn't open, room is not done. So
okay. That's nice because I'm a big time like especially on like action RPGs, and I'm traveling through and then I'll go off every single path because I don't want to miss anything because I don't want to have to come back. Mm-hmm. And to know like in this style of game, like to know, okay, that section's done, check it off the list, baby, and I can go on to the next area and I don't got to worry that I missed something. Like that's a big draw for me personally.
Oh, and it's so satisfying when you start checking off the rooms too. Like you've started completing them. You're just like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I love it.
So does Ender Magnolias do anything? Because I'll say, as much as I love Hollow Knight, I hated the map in Hollow Knight. Having to run for 10 minutes straight to get to a fast travel point, to then travel to a fast travel point that, oh wait, that's not where I meant to go. Oh, maybe it's this one. Nope, it's not that one either. Where the heck was this fast travel point? Where was that underground, like swampy, gassy area that I'm trying to find? Like, I can't remember where it is, And so for me, a map can absolutely ruin a Metroidvania for me. I will say, we were chatting the other day, Ace, and I asked you if you had played the new Prince of Persia, the Lost Crown one. Mm-hmm. And because I said this has the best map in any Metroidvania I've ever seen, it lets you take a screenshot and pin it to the map itself so that you can remember what the thing was that you couldn't get to. Like at one point, there's a chest that's like, it's well above double jump range. And I'm like, well, how the heck am I supposed to get up there? And so I just took a screenshot of it, pinned it to the map, and then later on in the game, probably 6 hours later, I got the ability that let me get up there, but I could see it. Like I visually could see, oh yeah, that's where that treasure chest is I couldn't get to before. And I have heard good things about the map in Ender Magnolias, but what is it that they do? Is it just a plethora of fast travel points? Like, is there something that makes it more approachable?
It is sectioned off into each of their the level sections. Like it says where you're going up at the top there. And it also tells you if you've gotten everything in that area at the top.
That's really
putting a little check mark next to it, which is super cool. Really though, there's no way to do that except for to put pins, because they did actually include like little map pins you could drop to help remind yourself. I don't really struggle with the remembering where to go on the map, but that's because I played the game for 8 straight hours every day.
Yeah.
So that wasn't something I was thinking about, I'll be real, but it probably did have pictures and I just didn't notice.
I thought that was genius for Lost Crown, to be honest with you. I get that you want these big sprawling worlds for Metroidvania so that you can kind of wander around and explore, but just give me the ability to, like, once I've experienced it, just skip over some of that stuff, man, or just like have something that says go to this zone, or just something. I can't tell you the number of hours I have lost in this life by backtracking somewhere that it was like, it's not there. Oh wait, maybe it's over here. Nope, it's not over there. Like, what was I doing?
I know it was somewhere around here. I just can't find it.
Yes, exactly.
I saw that door. Where was it?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. More of that, please, for Metroidvania. So, all right, listen, we're running low on time. Ace, you mentioned it, and I just want to double check this because I was going to get your rating on this game. But like, are you truly giving this a 10 out of 10?
This is a 10 out of 10 game. This is the most pure joy in a gaming experience you can have, especially as a Metroidvania fan. It does everything right. Like, there's no glitches, no hiccups. It's completely finished. It's stunning, beautiful to listen to and look at. And the combat is ever evolving. I didn't even get into the different types of homunculi. I didn't even touch the story where it's so good, man. It's
we didn't want to get into story for spoilers. I know that you said,
game, so I don't want to really touch it.
Yeah, I know you said the story actually like it made you emotional.
Yeah, a little bit, man.
In a way.
Yeah. That's
always good too.
It was touching.
So.
Well, and what maybe a little something that makes me emotional, and I just want to put it out there, like, how about a game that just runs well? Like, like what kind of world are we living in where that's like a perk of a game? Oh yeah, no glitches and the game runs well. Like, what you're right.
What
world are we living in where that's a benefit? Like, oh, I bought this car after 5,000 miles, it blew up. Like, oh, bummer. That's just happens sometimes. No, like, put these things out, have them run well, and it sounds like this hit the mark on that, and like that's depressing that's like a benefit, but it's also good to hear, and it should be an attractive thing for people that are, looking for a game of this type.
Well, especially for indie devs, they don't have teams of 100 people doing all this stuff. And so, like you said, somebody that actually releases a complete game that isn't buggy, isn't broken, isn't, hey, we'll patch that, don't worry, day one patch kind of thing, is something that should be rewarded. And so if this game sounds like it's up your alley, I mean, 10 out of 10 is hard to argue with. Better than Hollow Knight?
It is better than Hollow Knight. I will die on that hill.
It's hard to argue with.
That's
and it's
wild,
I almost want somebody else to like come forward and be like, it is better than Hollow Knight. And then I'll be like, Ace isn't crazy.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that might still be.
Probably still crazy. But if you've played it and you agree or disagree, come let us know. Come to our Discord, come to our socials, wherever it is. Let us know what you think, yay or nay on kind of that rating.
Come flame me.
I'm
interested to see for sure.
So I do have a question, Ryan. Like, with everything that Ace has said, does it get you curious? Does it get you going like, dude, I might need to check this game out at some point? Now, I'll say that under the preface that we are very close to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's release, which I know we will be playing and covering for the pod, which will then lead into Avowed. But let's just pretend that in March there's nothing. There is stuff in March, which, like I said, we'll cover on the Twig. But let's just pretend you got an open month, Ryan, right? And you're like, dude, what am I going to play? Marvel Rivals, yes, we're going to play that. But like, are you curious at this point? Like, is this a game you like? Metroidvanias more than me. So what's your takeaway from this?
I would say, honestly, that is the perfect word, is curious. Hearing that, one, it runs flawlessly. The art style of the hand-drawn, kind of the look and the way it looks, is something that is a big draw to me. The music, I am big on video game music. I think that paired with good cinematics or good gameplay really just draws you into a kind of a separate, like, almost plane of existence when you're playing. Like, you are in that world, you are part of that, and there's nothing else going on. So anything that can give me that feeling, I have to give it an honest shot and an honest try. Like, so and obviously, like we said, we respect Ace's opinion on this stuff, like, wholeheartedly. We know what he thinks about this, and with my opinion on Metroidvanias and how much I love them, it would probably be a crime to not at least try this. And the fact that I don't have to go play a whole nother game to try this game is also enticing. So I would say, for me personally, it's something that I'm definitely gonna find not only just it happened, but I'm gonna actively find a spot to where I can, make some time to play this game. I think I have to.
Yeah, man. Heck yeah.
I will I will say this, Ace, you got me very curious on this. You know, you've been hounding us about this game for, months and months and months.
That's one word for it.
He's been, I mean, I do this to people all the time, Remnant too. But it's one of those things where, the claim that it's better than Hollow Knight to me really kind of, it's like my brain almost wants to go like I'll be the judge of
Prove
that.
it. Yeah, no way.
Like, I'll be the judge of that.
That was my hope
for anybody
reaction.
that's out there. And again, Ryan and I have not played this. Ace has 100% of this thing. But if you were curious, which I was, this game has a 95% rating on Steam currently. And that's with over 6,000 reviews. And this game released, 3 days ago? 4 days ago?
3 or 4 days ago.
So in 3 days,
huge.
it's amassed 6,000 reviews and it's at a 95%. There's obviously something here. Here's the best part about this. It's $24.99. Like, we talk about games, that leave their mark on you and that are beautiful games that you remember, or, that are works of art that we want to support. And, instantly, I think as gamers, our brains kind of go $60, $70. It's $24.99.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with Ryan on this one. Like, I think I need to try this game. Let's be honest, I'm probably not going to beat this game, but I think that just experiencing it is something that is probably on the agenda for us at some point once we kind of get past these huge releases that are coming up. Ace, I want to put you on the spot before we close the show.
Oh, all right.
Knowing what you know about Ender Magnolia and your hype and hopes for Tales of Iron 2, The Whiskers of Winter, if you could say, hey, I want you guys to play one of these, which one would you pick?
Ooh.
Oh, no.
I love it. You just see his face.
Oh, man. He's just like, I just got done hyping Ender Magnolia for the last hour, but I'm really hyped for Tales of Iron 2.
I really am hyped for Tales of Iron, man. I mean, the time for heroes is over. It's got to be Ender Magnolia, man. It's not recency bias. I know what everyone's going to be like, it's recency bias. You just played the game.
That exists. That's totally
normal.
This
game's a good game, man.
I've never played a game like this where I felt like the gameplay was constantly evolving in the exploration as well. Like, usually in a Metroidvania, you're just going across and, down. I felt like I was going everywhere. Through the water, in the air, it didn't matter. I was going.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
All right.
Well,
I guess if there's one that I'll try, maybe it's this one. Sorry, Tales of Iron 2. You had your chance.
I'm so sorry, Oddbug Studio. Please forgive me.
Rat Game 2.
No.
Oh, man. All right. Well, listen, thank you, everybody, for joining us for this episode. We hope you like this. Listen, we are going to be doing some very, very incredible things with the podcast very soon. We've got some big announcements coming. If you're not part of our community, you'll hear about those on the next episode. But we are absolutely focused and committed to bringing this podcast to the next level and the level above that. We cannot thank you enough for being with us and listening to this show. But if you have enjoyed your time with us so far, let me tell you that for Ryan and myself, we could not be more excited. Ace, I'm going to speak for you because you've been such a critical part of the community and the show and a good friend. You know what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
We cannot tell you how excited we are for the future. We have a lot of really incredible things coming. One of those is this 3rd episode per week. You're going to be hearing a lot more from us and from Ace of Shame in regards to indie games, indie news, and that sort of stuff. So we're very excited about that. But that's not it. I don't want to sound like a game show host, but that's not all, everybody.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, exactly. But there is a lot more coming. So, thank you for sticking with us. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you follow the show. Open your podcast app, click the plus button, click the follow button. If you haven't left us a review or a 5-star rating, please take a second to do that as well. And if you've been a listener for a while, or maybe this is your first time and you're just like, dude, this was great, and you want to support this podcast, you can do that over at multiplayersquad.com. We give you a lot of perks for that. But yeah, we are very excited for the future. Ace, thank you so much for being willing to do this. Number one, for sharing your passion for indie games with people. It's going to be a lot of work, but Ace he's on board for that. And we're very excited about just really kind of tackling that side of the gaming world and the gaming industry as well. So that's it for this episode. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you, Ace. Until next time, happy gaming.
Come at me, Hollow Knight fans.
Love it. See ya.